aggressive, feisty, hypersensitive, diva, combative, hostile, attitudinal, brash, and angry. These words only represent a handful of the demeaning terms that have been used to describe black women throughout the course of history. Society has developed a system of poorly coded language, but secret codes stop working when patterns are so visible that they lose their distinctiveness. The angry black woman narrative is a tired and overused extension of racist stereotypes meant to belittle and invalidate the emotions and opinions of black women. This often leads to a seat at the table requiring an invisible NDA, relinquishing all opinions and feelings to silence. Mammy, a black woman serving as a nurse to white children, especially formerly in the southern U.S. Before the Civil War, mammies were the female slaves entrusted with the care of the master's children. From the 19th through the mid-20th century, black women were characterized in stories and movies as a domineering, sassy, and often inarticulate version of the real-life mammy. The fictional mammies were allowed to backtalk their white employers. This was the white creators' way of showing that the mammy was accepted by the white family, alluding that slavery wasn't as oppressive as everyone thought it was. As time progressed, the role of the mammy shifted and grew into a personified figment of a white man's imagination that became a lasting template for how black women are perceived. Caricature, exaggeration by means of often ludicrous distortion of parts or characteristics. The version of the angry black woman portrayed in the world today has evolved from yet another previous version, dating back to the late 19th century with the creation of the character Sapphire Stevens on the radio show Amos and Andy. The show was run by two white men who voiced black characters while mocking behavior and dialect, continuing racist minstrel show traditions. Later turned into a TV character, Sapphire was a black woman whose primary role on the show was to belittle, humiliate, and mock her husband for his ignorance. This relationship was popularized immediately, prompting laughter from national audiences at the expense of perceived blackness. It was just comedy, right? Wrong. This was only the beginning of the modern-day tale of black women not being taken seriously on television or in real life. In 1940, Hattie McDaniel became the first African American to be nominated for an Academy Award. She then became the first African American to win an Academy Award for her portrayal of Mammy in Gone with the Wind. For producers across the country, this win screamed, "This character wins awards. Keep them coming." Dismissive. Having or showing a disdainful attitude towards someone or something regarded as unworthy of serious attention. What happens when you ask Google to show you what an angry black woman looks like? Maybe some of these faces look familiar. Actresses, athletes, political figures, reality stars, and television producers all fall into the search results. It is more than clear that the angry black woman narrative does not discriminate based on social status or success. You're black first, a woman second, and successful last. Take Serena Williams, for example, a 23-time singles Grand Slam winner, multi-Olympic gold medalist, and an undeniably talented athlete. At the 2018 U.S. Open, Williams received a total of 3 violations, causing her to lose the game to her opponent. This match sparked controversy, simply because Williams' reactions to the penalties were not much different than some of her white male counterparts, whose outbursts went unpunished. While Williams received a game penalty for verbal abuse after calling the umpire a thief, Andy Murray had no repercussions for intentionally kicking a tennis ball toward an umpire's head in 2016. In the case of Serena Williams, it didn't matter that she was on her way to receiving her 24th Grand Slam title, or that she was in her second decade of playing professionally. She stood up to defend her character and was reprimanded for asserting herself. Distortion, the act of twisting or altering something out of its true, natural, or original state. Evolving from a source of entertainment into a weaponized label used to describe a vocal black woman, the persistence of this false narrative has made it harder to narrow the gap between actions that will and will not yield deserved respect. For some perspective, there has only ever been one black woman Fortune 500 CEO. Ever. Currently, there are 0. NGOs like the Black Career Women's Network are optimistically working to change that. Established in 2012, the organization strives to bridge the gap of support for professional development and mentor access by providing curated tools, resources, programs, and a strong community network for women to strategically manage their careers, navigate the workplace, and thrive professionally. By understanding that black women are generally underrepresented and overlooked in the workforce, BCWN hopes to diminish that pattern by providing support and tools to shatter the glass ceiling. Code switching, adjusting one's style of speech, appearance, behavior, or expression in ways that will optimize the comfort of others. We live in a world that doesn't let individuals separate pieces of their identities no matter how hard they try. When everything we know and experience is built by the system of race, everything is a race issue. The experiences faced by Black women differ greatly from those of white women, simply due to the reality of what it means to be a Black woman in America. The continuation of this divisive stereotype has the same exclusionary implications Audre Lorde saw in contemporary feminism. Lorde wrote, "There is a pretense to a homogeneity of experience covered by the word sisterhood that does not in fact exist. Sisterhood can't really be sisterhood when some sisters have to jump through more hoops, can it?" Erasure of Black stories in feminism is not much different than silencing Black voices by perpetuating a false narrative. Whether or not the insinuations made are guided by prejudice, speech that bolsters the presence of the angry Black woman in society is a weapon armed with hatred, aiming for silence. Does the angry Black woman exist? Is she hidden in each of the businesswomen who have silenced themselves out of rationalized paranoia? Or maybe she's buried deep inside the teens who swallow their frustrations out of fear of being seen as unlikable and problematic. In this world, is it possible to be a Black woman and not be angry? The caricature of the angry Black woman isn't real, but if she were, she would have more than earned the right to be.